Welcome to the State Loop 335 Segment C-1 Virtual Public Hearing, hosted by the Texas Department of Transportation Amarillo District. TxDOT appreciates your interest and involvement in this project. Your input is critical to the project development process, and we look forward to receiving feedback and comments from you. You will be provided information at the close of this presentation on how to provide verbal comment and written comment. For your safety, TxDOT has created this virtual public meeting in response to the COVID-19 outbreak. The virtual public hearing and TxDOT website provides the same information that would have been provided during an in-person hearing. Project information, estimated timeline, process for submitting comments, and key contacts. The public hearing is divided into two parts, a project presentation and a public comment period. The presentation discusses the purpose for public involvement, where people can review the project study further, purpose of the overall State Loop 335 project, Segment C1 project overview, anticipated phased construction plan, utility coordination, the environmental study governed by the National Environmental Policy Act, right-of-way activities, and project schedule. The proposed project design and other exhibits are available at the project website link. Your questions and input are very important to us, and what you say will help drive the project development process. TxDOT has several methods for you to provide feedback, and this will be presented near the end of the presentation. You can stay connected with the project by visiting the SL335 project webpage on the TxDOT.gov website. You might be asking, what is the purpose of a public hearing? The four essential purposes of a public hearing are to inform the public of the status of planning the proposed project and present the recommendations based on studies performed to date. Describe the recommended location and design so that those attending can determine the project's potential to affect their lives and property. Provide the public an opportunity to submit information and their views at a stage in the planning process when flexibility to respond to comments still exists and before location and design decisions are finalized. And finally, to develop a record of public views and participation to accompany recommendations for subsequent decisions. This public hearing is being held in compliance with both federal and state laws. For the official record, a transcript of this hearing will be made from the verbal comments. Following this hearing, the department will proceed with the preparation of the final environmental documentation. Your verbal comments and written comments will be addressed by TxDOT in this documentation and will be given full consideration in the preparation of the final recommendation and design for this project. The environmental review, consultation, and other actions required by applicable federal environmental laws for this project are being or have been carried out by TxDOT pursuant to 23 U.S.C. 327 and a Memorandum of Understanding dated December 9, 2019, and executed by FHWA and TxDOT. The design schematics and environmental assessment for the proposed project are available online at TxDOT.gov at the Public Hearing Meeting Information website. Keywords SL335 Segment C-1 and for inspection and reproduction by appointment at the Texas Department of Transportation Amarillo District Office, located at 5715 Canyon Drive, Amarillo, Texas, 79110. State Loop 335 around the city of Amarillo serves as a connection to national and regional corridors along with local arterials. The TxDOT Amarillo District and the Amarillo MPO have identified SL335 as a top priority transportation project candidate, with the goal of upgrading the entire loop to a controlled access freeway-type facility consisting of main lanes, ramps, one-way frontage roads with possible bicycle and pedestrian accommodations, and three-level interchanges: I-40 East, I-40 West, I-27, and US 87. The project is divided into four segments, which include Segment A, the southeast quadrant, Segment B, the southwest quadrant, Segment C, the northwest quadrant, Segment D, the northeast quadrant. The SL335 Segment C1 project begins at Southwest 9th Avenue. The proposed improvements follow the existing SL335 corridor. From Southwest 9th Avenue, the project proceeds to the north and crosses over RM 1061 Tascosa Road. Further to the north, the alignment bends to a more easterly direction and crosses over the Burlington North Santa Fe Railroad, BNSF, and Hester Drive. The project ends at the FM 1719 Northwestern Street interchange. The SL 335 segment C1 project length is 5.8 miles. Currently, preliminary schematic design and environmental planning are ongoing. The preliminary construction cost estimate is $168.5 million in 2020 dollars for the ultimate project. The ultimate project is not fully funded for construction at this time. Due to the scale of this project, the intent is that the construction will be accomplished over multiple phases. The first phase of construction is estimated to be $73.7 million in 2020 dollars. The 2020 Unified Transportation Program has obligated construction funds for the first construction phase of this project in the amount of $82.5 million, and a letting schedule anticipated in the year 2023. Advanced planning, preliminary engineering, right-of-way acquisition, and utility relocation activities for this project are all fully funded. The design of the project is being developed in cooperation with the Texas Department of Transportation, the City of Amarillo, Potter County, Amarillo Metropolitan Planning Organization, and the Federal Highway Administration. This figure represents the SL 335 Segment C1 anticipated project timeline. Conceptual design for Segment C1 was completed in 2018, and we are currently in the geometric design and environmental studies phase of the project, which started in early 2019. As part of this phase, an environmental assessment is being completed, which must meet the specific guidelines established by the National Environmental Policy Act, known as NEPA. An environmental assessment identifies the need and purpose for improvements, examines project alternatives, and potential environmental impacts. This timeline also shows development of construction plans, right-of-way appraisal and acquisition, and letting and construction that will follow the current stage we are at today. This public hearing is one of many steps that have and will be taken during the entire Segment C1 project development process. The proposed improvements for SL 335 Segment C1 include upgrading the entire project to a controlled access urban freeway facility, which includes improving the existing two-lane undivided roadway from Southwest 9th Avenue to south and west of FM 1719, and improving the existing four-lane divided roadway from south and west of FM 1719 to FM 1719. 2. A four-lane divided freeway, with one-way two-lane frontage roads in each direction. Bike and pedestrian accommodations, including a 14-foot outside shared-use lane on each frontage road. And, at a minimum, a 6-foot sidewalk in each direction is planned adjacent to each frontage road, with the possibility of expanding one of the two sidewalks to a future 10-foot shared-use path between Southwest 9th Avenue and RM 1061, depending on funding. The proposed ultimate typical section anticipates a usual right-of-way width of 400 feet to accommodate the proposed improvements just described. The proposed improvements for State Loop 335 Segment C1 also include improvements to intersections. This includes existing intersections at A. Southwest 9th Avenue, B. RM 1061, C. North Coulter Street, D. BNSF Railroad, Hester Drive, E. FM 1719, and a planned new intersection, F. Future Street, located between Southwest 9th Avenue and RM 1061. As mentioned previously, a common way to construct a project of this scale is to construct the project in phases to improve safety and operations. Phase 1 will generally build the frontage roads to create a 4-lane divided facility, which ties to the existing 4-lane divided facility just west of FM 1719 North Western Street. Utilities such as water lines, sewer lines, gas lines, telephone cables, electrical lines, and other underground and overhead utilities may need to be adjusted. The adjustment and relocation of any utilities would be managed so that no substantial interruptions would occur while these adjustments are being made. An environmental assessment has been prepared for the proposed project to document the environmental analysis performed in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act. The environmental analyses are necessary to identify, avoid, and minimize effects to the human and natural environments. The Loop 335 Corridor Development Study, which assessed SL 335 in its entirety, was completed by TxDOT in August 2014. The goal of the study was to improve safety, functionality, traffic movement, alleviate traffic congestion, provide an alternate freight route, improve economic development, and maintain and enhance the community. More information on the build and no-build alternatives can be found in Chapter 4 of the SL 335, Segment C-1 Environmental Assessment. The environmental assessment document describes the need and purpose for the proposed project, the affected environment, and the environmental consequences. The environmental document addresses the following topics: project-specific considerations, existing facility, proposed project, purpose and need, funding sources, build alternative, and no-build alternative. Potential community resource impacts: land use, population, regional and community growth, community cohesion, limited English proficiency, public facilities and services, right-of-way, easements, and relocations, displacements, environmental justice, traffic noise, and hazardous materials. Potential cultural resource impacts: Section 4F resources, which are publicly owned and accessible parks, recreation areas, and wildlife and waterfowl refuges and historic sites. This does not include private facilities. Section 6F resources, which are parks and recreation areas with improvements paid for by using funds from the Land and Water Conservation Fund Act. Historical resources and archaeological resources. Potential natural resource impacts: Clean Water Act Section 402, Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System. Texas Commission on Environmental Quality Section 401, Best Management Practices. Threatened or impaired waters, Section 4F and Section 6F as previously defined. Wetlands and jurisdictional waters of the U.S. Floodplains, water quality, threatened and endangered species, Migratory Bird Treaty Act, vegetation and wildlife habitat, topography and soils, and air quality. This document was approved for circulation by TxDOT's Environmental Affairs Division in Austin and has been coordinated with other public agencies. The environmental assessment for this proposed project is available on the TxDOT website for your review, and is also available at the TxDOT Amarillo District Office located at 5715 Canyon Drive, Amarillo, Texas 79110. The key environmental issues are as follows: potentially jurisdictional waters of the U.S. 5 potentially jurisdictional waters of the U.S., consisting of unnamed, intermittent tributaries to West Amarillo Creek, were identified within the project area. Impacts to the waters would require U.S. Army Corps of Engineers permitting. Nationwide Permit 14 without pre-construction notification. TxDOT will continue to determine how to best minimize the adverse effects of the proposed project and consult with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Right-of-way displacements. Acquisition of approximately 100 acres of additional right-of-way impacting 22 parcels. No residents or businesses would be displaced or require relocation. Cultural resources. On October 29, 2019, the State Historic Preservation Officer concurred with the findings of no impacts to known archaeological resources as outlined in the Archaeological Survey. TxDOT has initiated consultation with federally recognized tribes whose areas of interest encompass the proposed project. Traffic noise. The proposed project would not result in traffic noise impacts. Historic properties. A total of 3 historic age resources on 3 parcels were identified within the area of potential effect. No properties were recommended as eligible for inclusion in the National Register of Historic Places. In conclusion, the studies, analyses, and evaluation performed thus far indicate the proposed improvements would cause no significant environmental effects. The proposed project, as previously described, would require the acquisition of approximately 100 acres of additional right-of-way, impacting 22 parcels. There are no potential residential or business displacements based upon the current schematic design. No places of worship or public facilities would be displaced, and no displacements are anticipated within environmental justice or limited English proficiency population census areas. The following describes TxDOT's right-of-way procedures. 2 booklets are available for download from this public hearing website. One is titled State Purchase of Right-of-Way, and the other one is titled Relocation Assistance. If there is a possibility that some of your property may be acquired, we encourage you to download copies from the TxDOT website. These booklets contain a significant amount of information. Rather than trying to cover all of this material in detail this evening, I would like to acquaint you with the answers to the most commonly asked questions. Before the right-of-way acquisition process may begin, the Texas Department of Transportation must obtain environmental clearance, local agency agreements, approved right-of-way maps, and funding. With the route approved, maps will be prepared by registered professional land surveyors to show the exact amount of land to be acquired from each affected property owner. All the land is to be used for roadway purposes and will be acquired in the name of the state of Texas. All acquisitions must be conducted in accordance with the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. After the release is obtained from the right-of-way division in Austin, TxDOT will order property title information, 5-year sales data, and preliminary title commitments. In order to establish land values, TxDOT may employ independent real estate appraisers to determine their opinions of just compensation for the part of each owner's property to be acquired. This procedure is explained on pages 3 and 4 of the State Purchase of Right-of-Way booklet. The appraisers will contact each owner before proceeding with appraising the properties. Each of you as owners will be given the opportunity to accompany the real estate appraiser on an inspection of your property. Once the property is appraised and submitted to TxDOT for review and approval, a written offer will be made to you, the property owner. TxDOT's acquisitions agent presents the offer to the property owner. This offer will be based upon the amount of the approved appraised value, with any compensable damages to the remaining real property. TxDOT will also provide relocation assistance to those who are eligible. The decision of whether the offer is acceptable or not, of course, remains with each owner. An owner may wish to donate land for the project for various reasons. In these cases, the appraisal process will not be necessary, provided that the property owner signs a waiver to waive their rights to receive just compensation and an appraisal of the property. This does not include donations at less than just compensation, or partial donations which must be appraised. If the property owner chooses to receive compensation for the needed right-of-way, then the following are the options available to the property owner. The owner may accept the offer or submit a counteroffer, if appropriate. Also, as another option, the booklet further describes the procedure by which right-of-way is acquired when the property owner does not agree with the acquiring agency's determination of just compensation. This procedure is known as eminent domain and is described on page 9 in the State Purchase of Right-of-Way booklet. When the owner accepts the approved value, a deed and a memorandum of agreement is prepared for the owner's signature. TxDOT will issue a warrant, check, made out to the title company for the owner. The owner closes at the title company and is then compensated for the newly acquired right-of-way. The owner may submit a counter-offer if the owner believes the offer does not represent just compensation. TxDOT reviews the counter-offer and either accepts or rejects it. If rejected, the owner may still accept the original offer or proceed to eminent domain. In eminent domain, the court appoints 3 independent commissioners, who themselves are landowners in the county, to hear the owner and TxDOT. Based on the evidence presented, the commissioners will decide the award to the owner. TxDOT deposits the award, which the owner may withdraw, in the registry of the court, and at that point TxDOT will take possession of the needed right-of-way. If desired, either the owner or TxDOT shall have the right to appeal the award to a jury trial. The state's relocation program for personal property, administered solely by the state with no local government funding required, is available to those of you who may qualify for certain benefits as a result of acquisition of properties. Monetary payment for incidental expenses, which are the owner's out-of-pocket expenses to convey good title to the state, may be eligible for reimbursement and are applicable whether or not a displacement occurs. These benefits are applicable to all individuals, families, businesses, farmers, ranchers, and non-profit organizations, without regard to race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. This information is contained in the Relocation Assistance Booklet. If you believe a move is to be necessitated by the proposed project, the department would caution you not to move before negotiations have begun, unless you first secure an informational notice to owner in compliance with the Uniform Act and FHWA policy. This must be done to avoid the possibility of your loss of personal property relocation benefits, which to you may otherwise be eligible for reimbursement by the department. Should a displacee be dissatisfied with any of the amounts offered for relocation reimbursement, appeal procedures are available. These are discussed on the last page of the Relocation Assistance Booklet, page 39. Additional information is available from TxDOT's Lubbock Right-of-Way Office, should you have the need for relocation assistance. Lastly, regulations governing the relocation of advertising signs which are not purchased by the acquiring agency as real property are discussed on pages 31 and 32 of the Relocation Assistance Booklet. Following this hearing, documentation of this public hearing will be forwarded to TxDOT's Austin office for final environmental clearance and design approval. Assuming there are no major issues arising from this hearing that cannot be addressed in a reasonable time frame, environmental clearance is expected by the end of September 2020. It is at this stage of proposed project development that TxDOT can proceed with detailed construction plans and right-of-way acquisition. The estimated project letting date is subject to the approval of the construction plans and will be phased dependent of the availability of funds. Please leave a recorded voicemail with your verbal comments starting on Tuesday, June 23, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. Leave a voicemail up to 3 minutes long in English or Spanish at any time until Wednesday, July 8, 2020. The phone number is 806-553-2725. If you prefer to provide written comments, please use one of the following options. Download the comment sheet from the website www.txdot.gov, keywords SL335 segment C1, and return to TxDOT Amarillo District at 5715 Canyon Drive, Amarillo, Texas 79110. Email your comments to ama_project_input@txdot.gov. For your comments to be included in the official record, whether by written comment card, emailed comment, or voicemail message, they must be received on or before Wednesday, July 8, 2020. Once completed, we will post the Segment C1 public hearing report on the TxDOT website. Moving forward, if you have any questions or wish to obtain updates on the project, TxDOT encourages you to visit the TxDOT.gov website to learn more. The link to the project webpage is listed on the screen. This concludes our presentation.